Hey yo, welcome back to another video. I hope you all are doing well. I'm in a moving process, so my life's just feeling great. So, in the meantime, let's talk about something that I'm quite and particularly interested in, and that is a Final Fantasy VII Remake update for the PlayStation 5 slash remastered, which, Square, please do not go that route. We'll see what happens. So firstly, starting off this video, why is there a talking point for this in the first place? Well, most definitely, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out at the tail end of the generation. Now, sure, it was in development for however long for the PlayStation 4, but my god, the PlayStation 4 in general held back a lot of games from reaching their true performance on that console compared to something like a PC. So, in essence, there's a lot of potential that Final Fantasy VII Remake still has, and that still isn't obtained with the PlayStation 5 because Square Enix did not patch it. Sadly. Now, in the future, I do feel like they will, and I really am hyped to see that, and especially since Final Fantasy VII Remake is a timed exclusive, I really think that they're already planning on porting it to the PC and Xbox Series X/X/Xbox One. So in this video, I'm essentially going to be talking about my wants for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And before someone says, oh, you should be grateful that you got Final Fantasy VII Remake or that it even exists, this Square knows that people want this update, and they also know they want this to be the most definitive way you play Final Fantasy VII in modern times. They want this to hold up for years to come. So with people going into Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then let's say, oh, Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 comes out, and that's what makes them buy the console, or they already have other games, and they're like, oh my god, Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 looks really cool, let me pop in Final Fantasy VII Remake 1, and then they're like, huh, why does it feel crappy compared to what Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 looks like? Well, it will be like a generational thing where it's like, this didn't hold up compared to what they were able to accomplish with Final Fantasy VII Remake 2, so it'll just be an awkward position to be in if they don't do anything in terms of remastering or, I guess, patching Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I really hope that they patch it, because people definitely have spent an exuberant amount of money on Final Fantasy VII Remake for collector's editions, etc. So to include those people, it just would not be a good idea. Me personally, I paid for it on sale, but I know the people who like spent the collector's editions, you know, I mean, they probably will spend more money on a remastered version, but I feel if they charge for a remastered version of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, there will be people that will be like, you know, I spent like $100 something, maybe $200 on this collector's edition. Why am I spending more money on this? I mean, I'm sure they already spend the money, but you know, you got the other side of the community that will be like, this is some bullshit. So, I mean, I guess they gotta make up the money for the Avengers failed project anyways. So, I mean, yeah. So with that being said, let's get into my wants for the Final Fantasy VII Remake PS5 update. Why am I doing this? Just go with it. I think when people look at performance now, it's more or less better FPS and visual quality, and this is one thing that I think the PS5 can do. Output 60 FPS at the minimum, and do better resolution. Now, if you don't know about Final Fantasy VII Remake, it definitely has some dynamic resolution to keep the FPS stable at 30 FPS throughout the entire playthrough, and I think it does a good job with the PS4 side to keep that, because the PS4 is basically using a mobile processor and came out in 2013, so you know, yeah, it really be. That's why those fans were cranking. So in terms of better FPS, I'd at least like to see 60 and I guess 4K, even though I don't play at 4K. I know people would like to see 4K 60, and I think that's what a lot of games are on the PS5 are aiming for. And I think the most recent example of this is Borderlands 3. That came out on the PS4, but then they did a PS5 patch, which that game is already on PC, so it's probably more or less easier for them to do. So for them to just, you know, be like, there you go, here's 4K 60. And there's also 120 FPS mode for the Borderlands patch, but I think more or less people are going to be aiming towards 60 FPS and 4K, so that would be your general marketing and general audience would be 4K 60. If they can mark that, then that would be amazing. So for me personally, instead of looking at perspectively from, the marketing and, the general consumer, I want performance. I want 60 FPS or higher because, oh my god, 60 FPS playing this game while it's more snappy feeling. If you haven't played Persona 5 and 60 FPS in RPCS 3, like, that should be snappy. And if they do 60 FPS in Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's gonna be snappy and it's gonna look so much better and just feel so much better. And a lot of people say, oh, I can't feel a difference between 30 and 60 FPS. You're a liar, because there is a humongous difference, whether you realize it or not. It just feels so much smoother and so much snappier with my experiences with higher FPS in games that I've originally played in 30, then going to like from 60 to, a PC, like, god damn, where it's 144 hertz monitor that I got, like, once you go 144, you can't go back. So in that regard, I'm just really hyped to see Final Fantasy VII Remake potentially get a higher FPS than 30 and a potential PS5 patch in the future. So another thing that I'm looking forward to is better resolution across the board. Better resolution will make this game look a million times better than it's on the PS4. And if, like, you've explored through Midgar in the open world sections in Final Fantasy VII Remake, you can tell when, like, you looked up, you could tell that's a freaking borderline JPEG up there. And you just be like, god damn, this dynamic resolution is ass. A lot of people have been saying, from who I've been talking to, between friends essentially, have been saying, oh, it's just the janky Unreal 4 textures. I really think it's how, like, dynamic resolution works in this game to keep and maintain that 30 FPS smoothly. So I'm just gonna say it's dynamic resolution at its worst, because of how limited the PS4 Pro's performance was. Like, yeah, dynamic resolution be doing its job, just barely cutting the line. Another thing that I think dynamic resolution affects is the anti-aliasing. If you look at Cloud at times, you just have that static hair and it just be looking weird. So better anti-aliasing will just help characters look a million times better and definitely just make things just look smoother. And don't think that I don't think Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't good enough. This list more or less is just quality of life improvements to keep it held up to Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 once that comes out. So don't take it as me, saying, oh yeah, this game is crappy, it looks terrible, it's unplayable. Because it's not. It's still a very playable game. It's just I'd rather see more quality of life improvements for the future. So with that being said, I really love this game and plan on doing a review for it. So make sure to subscribe for that. And the last thing I want to see optimized is load times. Load times was a big thing for me on the PS4 Pro because it took a long time to load some environments, and in general, when you beat sections, it just took pretty decent time to load them. And so what I'd like to see is more optimized load times for loading different sections, etc. And I know the PS5 has the potential to do that, it just falls on the Square to optimize it for it to do that. Now, the load times have definitely improved in terms of just being backwards compatible on the PS5. Like, it's not exactly the same, at least with my experience, it's definitely changed that little bit. And I really want to replay Final Fantasy Remake with faster load times, so once they optimize them load times, they're gonna be snappy. It's gonna be snap, snappity, snap. I'm in the damn game. So that was the main annoyance that I had trying to go back and play, hard mode in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It just was, the load times were just so slow, and then my PS4 Pro would just ramp up the fans, and then me dying and constantly reloading, and it would just be kind of an annoyance. So hopefully, once they make a patch/remaster for Final Fantasy VII Remake, them load times gonna be snappy, like I said. With that all being said, I know this isn't a huge list and this isn't a big list, but this is just things that I want to see in a future Final Fantasy VII Remake patch, or remaster for Final Fantasy VII Remake, or even a PC port, let's be real, in the future. And I really think they're gonna do it once the exclusivity ends for, you know, the PlayStation branding. So yeah. And I can't wait to see it happen. So with that all being said, leave what you want in the comments down below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.